right, let's turn our attention now to Saturday afternoon at Simmons Stadium. It was Fremantle over the Cats by 15 points, 12-15, 87 to 9-18, 72. After all the complaining that had come from Fremantle, not from Ross Lyon admittedly, but from Fremantle, their CEO and other things, this was a real surprise, wasn't it, in front of a packed house down there. A terrific effort from Michael Barlow and Lee Spur, and also Matthew Pavlich with a couple of goals. Michael Barlow with the 3 goals, though. Jimmy Bartel and Matthew Stokes, the leading possession getters for the Cats. Well, let's where do we start with this one? Why did the Dockers win?
Well, they dominated around the ball. It's simple as that. I mean, they started in the first quarter. They were down -17 contested possessions and were able to finish +11 for the rest of the game. Fremantle were able to take more off Geelong for longer, and this was a significant event. You can see on the clock there 1 minute and 27 seconds to go, and I love this from a player who says, look, I have options, but I'm going to kick the goal. He wanted the ball and said, I'm going to take this moment, and he finished. And that was sort of almost the lie of the land from the group, and they're just really tough. They absorbed the pressure of Geelong. To go there is no mean feat and come away with a win. They absorbed that pressure and then they built their own game, and they asked some serious questions of the Cats.
All right, let's talk about the Freo motives in this match, because it did get a lot of attention. What do you make of particularly Zach Dawson at the start of the game? We expect this will be thrown out, but what was all this about, do you think? Do you think that Ross Lyon, was asked that controversial question? Do you reckon then they went in with a mantra of the Dockers?
No, not at all. I think this was just going to be a brutal contest. Everyone was talking about it. There's history amongst these two teams. There's always a chance this would happen. I mean, in reality, that first reportable offence from Dawson, I think, will just be thrown out. This one here is what they might look at, is this one in particular. I think that Stevie Johnson did, made a bit of a scene of it. So hopefully the tribunal looks particularly through that. Dawson might be more in trouble for the second one than the first one, but he had left the ground before he'd actually disposed of the ball. So I guess that's up to the tribunal to be able to see whether there's a case to answer. All
right, now I know you've had some entertaining news conferences over your journey, perhaps not quite as controversial as this, I think you'd be happy to say. Let's tune in to what Ross Lyon had to say, that conversation with the journalist post-match.
Ross, we saw a number of players go down off the ball. Was there a message before the game that you wanted your players to be physical at all times? Or was that...
Well, I'm not sure what you're alluding to. Are you talking about Dockers players or Geelong players?
Geelong players. We saw a few Geelong
Well,
players.
I think you're out of line, because what I saw some Dockers players go down off the ball.
I'm sure
yeah.
They were as well. But
yeah.
did you have a message to your players in particular?
What do you think?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the coach.
Well, I just think it's a silly question. Okay. We play within the rules.
Zach Dawson's game, Ross would have knocked it out. I think it's been
Yeah. Yeah. What's your name?
Mine?
Yeah.
Shane.
Shane who?
McGuinness.
Okay, that's the best question you can come up with after 2 hours of footy. You're quite brilliant, Shane. Yeah, terrific.
Just very quickly, was this an overreaction from Ross Lyon there, or perhaps premeditated?
Perhaps a little premeditated. I think he knew the question is going to be asked, but it's a fair question to probably challenge, because I think the consensus is that Fremantle are the antagonisers.
Yep.
In reality, both teams played a part in this, and that's what created this environment.